Chris. CRS, I think. Would be
Gelgog.
Chris.
So the underwater types in space.
Oh, those are. Oh, yes, a Gelgog, yeah.
I mean, it says Gelgog on the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a Gelgog.
Looks like a GM.
Yeah. Well, they said it's mass produced. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of GQuuuuuuX. We have notes. Well, I have notes. We have comments and a board. So let's go ahead and start with the board. And with the board comes the board changelog, where I have added Amate's mom, Cameron Bloom, Shuji, and his robot.
Cute little robot. Not a Haru, but still cute.
I feel like every other generation of Gundam show, somebody in the creative team says, well, those Harus, but what if square? Because you remember Gundam Seed also had a couple of squarish robots, Haru-sized.
Also had birdies, too.
Well, I swear there's like been a lot of square robots in Gundam. I just can't think of any off the top of my head at the moment. The tray-looking guy from Gundam Seed just comes to the top of my mind. Especially when I look at this thing.
With all the many robots, you would think that well, we don't see a lot of manufacturing, so I suppose manufacturing is extremely automated in this future, right?
Remember that I read Developers, which is a pre-One Year War manga dealing with the development of the Zaku and the testing of the Zaku, as well as some of the original pilots. Unaware of its canonicity, but seems to imply not a lot of automation. Although at the same time in Origin, we saw the Anaheim facility, and it seemed to be like, sorry, my brain.
Autonomous?
Nah, I guess that's not the word I'm looking for. Ford created the assembly line. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Assembly line, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of the words. It looks like an assembly line, but what's implied in Developers is there's a lot of specialized shit that you have to do in the creation of a Zaku that requires, like, okay, we have to do this part here and this part over here in a different facility. Like installing the nuclear reactor can't be done on an assembly line.
Yeah.
And part of the problem that they had, as I mentioned in Developers, was whatever show we were watching at the time that I brought up Developers, probably original Mobile Suit Gundam, was the element that with Minovsky particles being a problem, they had a problem with communicating between the people doing the manufacturing and the people in the control room. And they go through this whole process of trying to figure out how to communicate through Minovsky particles between each other. Because the idea is the developers are being outsourced by Zionic for the specific project, but they're also literally discovering how to do things for the first time. Like mobile workers are a thing, mobile suits, not well known. And that's why different companies that are making these go on to then test their designs against one another. I think I brought this up during... Yeah, it's one of the GQuuuuuuX episodes where we literally see them like holding an egg and then stacking blocks together. That happens in Developers. It's part of the testing to see which model from which company that built them is the best.
Yeah. And
that all leads up into like a space thing with the guy from Zionic challenging the guy from, I can't remember the company that from Developers.
No.
No. It's a name that I don't think you would have heard of before, and obviously it's not on top of my head. Love them though. It's a great little group. I really wish that someday they animate Developers, because it is. I think it's closest to what I keep asking for, which is a Gundam show without a Gundam in it. Because literally it's mostly about the people and their struggles to figure out how to get this shit done while also not being thrown under the bus, because Zionic doesn't really want them doing this either. So it's literally the middleman guy between his Zionic boss and this manager that runs the company here, who he's a good guy, but he's bad at this. He won't stop talking to anybody about what's going on. It's like, everybody knows what we're up to. He won't stop talking to the news. It's like, oh, okay. Anyway, I don't remember how we got here. What was the question that you asked?
No, it was you included the little robot, and that's how it started.
Well, he's clearly a character. He, whistles and does everything. If I'm going to include the Haru, I'm not going to not include Shuji's robot.
Shuji, who can listen to the Gundam somehow.
As per my previous notes. See, it's really hard that if you're going to argue with me about what I say is probably true about the show, and then you don't have anything to back it up yourself, your point of view. Look, I'm literally telling you I came with notes.
Also, her name is Neon. Neon?
Here's the
she's
thing.
She's a cat, but her name is Cat.
I would say we can get into another argument about Nico.
I get now that I see this Chila Bull, and then watching, because the last episode that we had on YouTube was about, the new type Chila Bull. It almost feels like Chila Bull should have its own, like, Saturday morning leitmotif, like, here comes Chila Bull, or something like that. I don't know why. Even though he's just one note character.
I don't know why either, because
it's just something about the name. I'm not
making up a theme song for him.
Yeah. Something about the name reminds me of 1980s villain names or hero names. Well, not main heroes, but like secondary characters who in.
So just based on name alone, you're delegating him to second tier status.
Yeah, Chila Bull wouldn't be like a main character in Americans. In fact, it would be the kind of name that it was, if it was taken from the Japanese to the United States in the early 1980s, it would be changed to something like that, like Charger Bull or, Chad
that would be
Bull
if he was not an X-Men. That would be if he was a Mega Man villain, right? Shalia Bull in Mega Man parlance, he's a bull character or something like that.
Yeah.
That's when he turns into Charger Bull or something like that when you
because
translate him over to America.
They would do that in like Voltron and stuff like that. They would change the names from the Japanese or whatever. Even if they didn't think the kids would understand the name for some reason, they would change the name. That other series starts with an R,
I think your example falls into what I literally just said, given that Transformers are essentially, again, robots, like Mega Man. Whereas this is a person and people have names that are proper nouns, and I think kids will understand that people have names.
No, but they would still change, like, there's Hikaru became Rick Hunter, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, let's use Harmony Gold as our example.
But all the companies did the same thing. The people who did Voltron did the same thing.
I love that you have examples for Robotech, but when it comes to Transformers and Voltron, it's like, they did the same thing. No example.
Optimus Prime was another name. I don't remember what the name of the Japanese toy was, but yeah.
Well, the Japanese toy also wasn't like the main character either.
No, it was because it was piloted, it wasn't an intelligent robot like it was in Transformers. So, but the toy had a name anyway.
All right, so we have I have notes. Xavier is described as a Loom refugee, meaning he's from Side 5, but specifically the thing that registered for me was that we saw that Loom had a relatively mixed population of Federation and Zeon supporters. We saw in Origin that the Loom government forcibly put down the pro-Zeon side of a massive demonstration on Miranda. That was where we saw Sayla working at the hospital, being contacted by Tachi, eventually leaving there for Side 7. So the fact Xavier is a refugee from there and became a Zeon officer doesn't automatically mean that he might not have always had Zeon leanings.
In fact, Origins actually even has sequences where people were being kicked out of the colony altogether Like people were being segregated. People who were, oh, you're pro-Sion, get the hell out, right?
That's what I was referencing. Well, I was mostly referencing the fact that they were literally being shot in the streets with live ammunition. But that's what I meant. I said when the Loom government forcibly put them down. According to his mugshot, Xavier is about 5'7".
Yeah. Short, but not too short.
Well, he's not that short as a Japanese man.
No, by 1 inch.
I believe the current global average is 5'10". When they discuss reporting that the GQuuuuuuX might have been stolen to the Supreme Commander's office, they specifically comment on drawing the attention of the Special Service. Special Service automatically makes me think of Caecilia's intelligence group, but even if that is what that is, that doesn't mean that she is the Supreme Commander. The fact that they say draw the attention of would seem to imply that telling the Supreme Commander's office wouldn't then automatically alert the Special Service, which would seem to indicate separate command structures. I'd think that if you told Caecilia, that her intelligence network would know off the bat. But if she wasn't the Supreme Commander, you might be alerting them via monitoring and not direct communication, aka drawing their attention. Either way, Sepha suggests that they already know anyways.
The thing is, if they have to run with the assumption that they already know. That's, kind of paranoia that keeps you alive. But if they do know, and this is a prototype Gundam, just gone missing with a top-of-the-line Psycho-Mu system, yeah, I think the Secret Service, is that what they call it?
Special Service.
Special will be all over this. Like, oh, hey, bringing hail. Yeah, we're gonna be boarded by the Special Service and be under arrest for, allowing a machine of war that, we're supposed to be testing.
They're not technically in Zeon territory at the moment.
No, but the ship is a Zeon ship, and they would be boarded for it, right? I'm not talking about boarding side. Was that this is side 3, right?
Nope.
Which side are we talking about? Side 7?
You should really be able to figure out where we're at very specifically because of everything that we know about the history of Gundam.
Yeah, side 8. It's side 8.
Nope, that doesn't even exist. You've gone one over the number of sides that are.
They're not going to board the side.
I mean, literally, you're running out of numbers. I told you what the top number was. You want to keep making guesses? No. You've already guessed half of them.
No. But they would probably put, question, board the. I'm still going to call it the green. The
Sodom.
No, that's the official name.
Yes, I like to call things the things they're named by, unless I've screwed up. Literally, unless I've screwed up for half the run of a show, which apparently I've done with Madoka Magica. Someone's telling me that you're calling her by her family name. This is her first name. I was like, well, I've called her this for 6 episodes now. There's 6 episodes left. Probably not changing.
The green base. Boarding it and at least questioning them of what the hell happened, right? Harshly.
Well, oddly, here's the thing. My comment was more about who's the Supreme Commander and not about what the Special Service was going to do.
If it's Caecilia, well, she's liable to shoot first and ask questions.
As I said, I don't think that it implies that Caecilia is the Supreme Commander.
I mean, you could still be her Special Service, though.
Yeah, that, again. Anyway, to you not paying attention to the start of the comment, here's one that is more relevant to that phone noise that we all just heard in your background. The phone text translation, RBC Prime News, after 8 p.m. in Nino Kunai, viewer provided, breaking news, unregistered mobile suit goes out of control, possible battle with military police and city, live, today's news, latest information, etc. RBC Prime News Channel, number of registered users, 360,000.
Interesting. But this is only 360,000. Well, I guess we have what, between 20 to 40 million. I think the top was 50 million that could fit in a Banshee, right?
No,
They did mention that last episode.
No, it's way too high. Way too high of a number. I believe 30 million was
30 million.
Possibly to a side. I don't even know if that was to a Banshai. Numbers ain't your thing today.
No, I thought it was to Banshai because we know that they
Well, I just mean you couldn't remember which side we're at, which is a number-based problem. And now you're misremembering
when they
the number of people.
Side 3.
Well, I also don't think you're remembering last episode. I think you're remembering a video that we watched called Gundam History, which added more to the Universal Century thing, which, again, is of, at the moment, dubious canonicity because of the fact that it gives a year to when the Universal Century started, and it's been my experience that anything that does that tends to not be canon anymore.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's say the largest number we heard so far in canon is 20 million. It is a popular news service.
I think 30 million is the highest because, well, again, that's either from that video or also remembering the amount of people that are supposed to live inside 3.
Yeah, side 3 was 20 million, and before it got gassed, and then
side 3 never got gassed. Side 3, do you not remember any of the sides?
I'm not.
Side 3 is Munzo, the capital of Zeon. Well, so technically, side 3 is Zeon. Munzo is the capital of side 3. But you're saying that they got gassed. It's like, what?
The side 2 who got gassed.
I'll be honest, this is the problem that came up when we were watching 8th MS Team, was that I forgot that Shiro was from Hathaway, which is the side that gets gassed, and it's like, and I refer to it as a different side. So it's not like I'm immune to the same thing that you're doing now. It's just that side 3 is such an obvious one not to get wrong. But then again, I would think that this side would also be obvious. Only very specifically because in our 1-year war watching of the Universal Century,
3 episodes on it.
They're one of the, I guess technically you could say, 4 remaining sides. It's not like we have a lot to keep up with here, because so it's all the other side 3,
side 7. It was a one that was.
Yeah, that's one of the one I was about. I was about to jump to side 7, so I'm not going to name this one to see if
that was a Gundam development side. Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, God, I can't remember which side Texas was part of. Side 5?
I think it's part of Munzo. It's part of
No,
Zeon.
It's not part of Munzo, and also not going to trust you to guess right, considering all of your wrong guesses today. Let's see, let me check my notes here. That is side 5. Nope. Side 5? Yeah, side 5. Texas is Loom. Sorry, for those of you that don't know, our 1-year war watch through, technically our complete Universal Century watch through, but we're still in the 1-year war. I have this whole notepad, or part of my notepad about Gundam, Universal Century stuff, where I've kept track, So my side 5 note, Loom, Texas colony, Texas itself remains, but the environment has been ruined, uninhabited. I guess technically uninhabited now. The idea that there were ranchers still there raising horses, possibly, during the episodes that we saw it. So technically, a Banshee of side 5, side 7 itself, side 3, and name the side that we're at right now.
Don't know.
You do know it's the only other one remaining in the 1-year war.
I forgot.
All right. Anyway, you had some other thought you were in the middle of before I interrupted you to try and help you figure out what side we're at?
Yeah. What I was saying was that making a distinction between, if it's 20 million people, 300,000 users of this particular app seems a bit small. But
and yet, so many thousands times more viewers than we get. So,
true enough.
Far beyond me to diss them. They went, literally, they're post half of the human race being dead and still beating our numbers. So, GQuuuuuX is how we pronounce it, so says the show. But also it's a placeholder name, and its real name is something else. Meaning at some point we might learn this thing's real name, at which point the actual name of the show will become pointless.
Or change.
Yeah, I think that's what you do with a popular media property, is to change the name of the show halfway through.
Oh?
You know how often I've thought of possibly changing the name of the channel or the channel URL from Maractus to Stoneface Reactions or something? Because that's what we do. That how many people would we lose instantly for not knowing what the channel is anymore? I don't think you just change the name of a Gundam show halfway through the show. Or, at any point. I don't think it's ever been done in any show.
No, that's
ever.
True.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, the name of the show wouldn't change. Which doesn't, then that means that giving us a real name will probably come at the very end of the show. Doesn't matter what, Why introduce it in the middle of the show and like, oh, this is the real name? Who cares? That's not the title of the game.
I'm not even talking about introducing its name. You could still do that. It's just, you don't change the name of the show, as you were saying. Because I can't even think of a situation like maybe if your ratings are so fucking bad and there's nothing else to replace you with, but then even at that point, they would just replace you with another show in rerun. Like, they wouldn't count on the fact that maybe changing the name will keep some current audience and bring in new people like, what the fuck is this thing? Because they would also be tuning in halfway through the show. So it wouldn't help anybody. God, it would be such a fucking bad idea. Clan Bat is entered with 2 machines. They say it near the start of the episode, and Anqui says it near the midway point. So why did they call out, there's another enemy mobile suit? Of course there would be. There always would have been.
I mean, yeah. But I think it was because she was so focused on the one. It's like, heads up. Remember, there's another one there. But
she's not talking to them, though.
No.
They're only talking to each other. They couldn't be talking to them because there's Minovsky particles in the area. Machu's If I Got Found Out scenario news site images. As I said before when we were watching, obviously I took screenshots of every fucking thing. knew.news. The number of visitors to the junk hall is at a record high of 56, making it an enjoyable experience that has never been seen before. A slumbering residential area at night was temporarily thrown into chaos. A mobile suit driven by a high school girl went out of control. In Nino Kunai, illegal mobile suits clash with military police piloted by a high school girl. What is clan battle, which has become a social problem? What happened at this prestigious girls' high school? Principal holds emergency press conference. Underage woman who piloted mobile suit incident may also have her citizenship revoked. Recommended local entertainment, business, today's news. Image in the center labeled as Minovsky particles. Sorry, I said center, corner. Image in the corner labeled as Minovsky particles. So I guess this show is showing us what Minovsky particles look like. Woman alleged to be the pilot of mobile suit out of control incident ordered to pay more than 2 million heights in damages. Izuma Jinzo. Underage girl piloted by mobile suit incident has her citizenship revoked. The true face of the female student who caused the incident, classmate. To be honest, she was out of place. Can girls from a rich school fight in mobile suits? The dangers of illegal devices. Actually, it says dangers of legal devices, but that doesn't make much sense. Police mobile suit destruction site. Public search for girl suspected of running in a mobile suit. A high school girl who fought the military police has her school and her real name revealed. The Twitter section of this. My father, Yoshihisa Yoshihara, is a police officer. Did you get stressed out because of pressure from your parents? This is a very lenient school. This isn't something that can be fixed by just expulsion. At least my life is over. Highbury tuition fees are so high, it's a shame. I definitely feel that way. There's no way that Junk Shop's mobile suit can beat my 06. The trending section was 1. Prestigious schoolgirls. 2. Clan battle. 3. Nino Kunai. 4. Highberry. 5. Died a premature death. Hashtag MS Rampage. By the way, I mentioned in episode 1 notes that she was heading from Highberry to Aldwych, so that pans out now that we know the name of the school is Highberry. Sunrise News. Military police, mobile suit destruction, girl suspected of reckless driving and stolen mobile suit undergoes public investigation. In Ni no Kunai, illegal mobile suits clash with military police piloted by a high school girl. The refugee settlement at night was in chaos for a while. A mobile suit ridden by a high school girl goes out of control. Mobile suit out of control incident. The culprit in the car was identified as a Highbury high school student. Headmaster holds emergency press conference. And just one final note from me at the end of this. So mother says she is going to cram school. We've got multiple confirmations that she goes to Highbury, and that Highbury is a rich school, maybe implying that she isn't a refugee like everyone else.
The thing is that all the news never tell the truth about what the actual destruction of the camp was, which was the military police.
Remember that this isn't real news. This is the 2019 definition of fake news, which is to say this is actually fake news. She is imagining what the news will say in her head.
Oh.
That's why I said this is 2019 fake news. This is the actual definition of fake news.
I thought you were reading from
No, she imagines in black and white screenshots of what the news will say the next day. Well, news and Twitter will say the next day. This is when the shot comes up with her like face with like a black line over her eyes. She's just imagining what the news is going to say during her "what if I get caught" scene.
Yeah. That's why she wears a mask? No, she wears
This is when she's at home in the bathtub.
Yeah.
So according to the Status of Forces Agreement, which states that the colony is within a Zeon-controlled airspace, due to the fact that Xavier was caught red-handed with military hardware inside 6, as I said it out loud now, you can remember what side we're at, Zeon cannot just legally ask for his return. So with that in mind, Charlie Bull just orders the Sudan to cruise through Side 6 at minimum speed. Slightly confused what they've crashed through, though. Looks like a lot of glass and such, but in the wide shot, they also appear to be entering through the main entrance. I guess Side 6 was occupied by Zeon in this timeline, as the newsreader states a fear that they've returned to an occupation state. At the very least, they are avoiding dispersing Minovsky particles inside of the colony, which itself might be a prescient threat, as the news reporters suggest, that were it releasing Minovsky particles, that would indicate a combat situation.
Yeah, you're trying to blank out all communications, and prelude to invasion.
Well, I mean, not even that. Mobile suit launches would indicate Minovsky particle densities. So if they're launching combat mobile suits, that would indicate a combat situation.
But the green base can also do so by itself. So
right, but you don't know where the Minovsky particles are coming from. More phone translation. RX-78 Gundam. Gundam Red redirects here, because remember, they're looking at Fulipedia. So she's looking up Gundam Red. This is the redirection page. Mobile number RX-78. Purpose, assault type mobile infantry. Classification, manned piloted weapon. Parentheses, mobile suit. Designer, unknown. Manufacturer, Earth Federation Forces Strategic Design Bureau. Operator, Earth Federation Space Forces, Zeon Space Attack Force, Zeon Mobile Assault Force. Head height, 18 meters, estimated. Body weight, unknown. Full weight, unknown. Total generator output, 1,400 kilowatts, estimated. Total thrust of thrusters, 55,000 kilograms, estimated. Sensor radius, 5,700. No measure.
Meters?
No measure. But
Oh,
I believe
meters.
that was the problem here is remember that her phone got busted, so it's got all these breaks. So sometimes the translator thing can't see the broken screen. Armor material, Luna titanium alloy. Operation status, unknown. The RX-78 Gundam was deployed to the Earth Federation during the Zeon War of Independence. It was captured and used by the National Army and achieved great success, earning the nickname Red Gundam. Summary. It is generally believed that Gundam is a mobile suit of the Principality of Zeon, but it was originally a mobile suit developed by the Earth Federation forces. Most of the design data was lost during the capture battle, and the aircraft itself was lost towards the end of the war, so there are many unknowns about the aircraft. Sorry, my nose is so fucking itchy these days. I don't know what the fuck is up with it. Features. According to information released by the Principality of Zeon, the basic design was based on Zeon's mobile suit technology and incorporated the latest technology from the Federation. It was equipped with Luna titanium armor, beam rifles, beam sabers, and other beam weapons, as well as head Vulcan and sensor dome, which were not seen in mobile suits up until the commonly used MS-06 Zaku type. And these features set it apart from the mobile suit design concepts of the time. It has been modified at least twice by the Principality of Zeon, and was painted in the personal colors of its pilot, Colonel Char Aznavour. This is why it is referred to as the Red Gundam by the Principality of Zeon. I don't know, use the word hit, also capable of all range attacks, was equipped with the Alpha-type Sakamu during this modification. Battle results and influence. As soon as it was put into use by the Zeon military, it achieved remarkable results in various battlefields. Although there are various theories, it is said that the Gundam shot down more than 10 battleships and 60 mobile suits during the Zeon War of Independence, and its pilot, Colonel Char Aznavour, was feared and nicknamed the Red Comet.
He technically was already the Red Comet before he got into the Gundam, but yeah.
This is a Wikipedia article, essentially. So
yeah.
Remember that there are, I didn't put it down, there are a number of, what do you call them?
Facts.
Well, the brackets of the numbers, they have a name, though. I can't remember what those are called.
Bullet points?
No.
Numbers? Entries?
No, there's the legit name for what those are called in Wikipedia, but it's not even just for Wikipedia. It's like literally for any, like a research document. Well, no, because they take you to the footnotes, but there's a name specifically for that. Anyway.
Links?
No, I don't. I think you're getting further away from it. This is, in a normal research article, there might be like a line of text that references another research article that this research article is referencing, and instead of like the bracket with a number in it, they'll just be like a little number 1, and in the bibliography of the entire paper, it'll be like
notations.
Like notations, probably what I'm talking about, but I can't remember what I'm actually thinking. So, funny thing, Machu's new type flash went off just after I was done translating all that phone text, meaning I was pausing scenes like crazy, because again, she just like scrolls down really fast, so I had to slow it all down and get like middle sections. Well, I saw the brown and red swirls and just assumed that she was seeing Jupiter and connecting to Chalia Bull. I wrote a whole thing about it, then hit play, and she's just having a vision of a dirty wall in a sewer, walking with her new compatriot delivery person, and it's just a flash of the future, so I deleted that thought. Well, if she's connecting with Shiju at a distance, why wouldn't she be connecting with Chalia now that he's in the colony? Yeah. So Machu is her childhood nickname. Not the best cover, since it's still associated with you. A height is still a rough currency to lock down. In episode 1, it costs 1.35 heights to travel across the city in mass transit. In episode 3, there is a 5,000 height coin and the cost of clandestine deliveries. I would infer then that there are either 1 height coins as well, or that mass transit is a digital payment only system. Still a wide gap in costs, with the coin the only hit towards a minted currency sizes. And by hit, I clearly meant hint, and I just didn't type the yen.
Yeah, they might be close to the yen because 5,000 sounds like there are 5,000 yen coins. So,
well, no, it's the difference between, hey, this thing costs 5,000 and we have a 5,000 coin, and this thing costs 1.35, right? So, but we haven't seen any other coins to know if there's like a 1 height coin. So, is like that a penny? It's like, what is that in actual? And otherwise, if we're dealing with such a low currency amounts, is that only such a low currency amount because we're dealing with a digital only payment system where such small amounts can be handled by the system that can't be handled by physical currency?
No, I think it's still if it's because, like I said, there's a 5,000 yen coin, so a 5,000 height coin is not something that the audience would be.
Is there a 1 yen coin?
I think it's not a 10.
See, that's what I'm talking about,
10,
though.
50,
if there's no physical currency to handle the costs of going across the city, aka 1.35, you're not losing 9 heights every time you pay. Sorry, 8 heights every time you pay by overpaying. So clearly, it must be a digital only system.
Or it could be it could be digital system because.
Well, what I assume you're about to say is that you would prepay for, like, here's 100 heights towards all my transportation. Yeah. That would be a digital only system. That's exactly what I was thinking when I wrote down digital only.
Yeah, so I think coins start at 10, 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000. I think there's even a 10,000. I know there's a 10,000 yen note. I don't know if there's a coin to go.
Well, this is just reaching back to, again, I brought up in the episode 2, when I was bringing episode 1 notes, I literally wrote down, okay, this costs 1.35 heights, knowing that in the future we might be talking about money. So I'm just keeping track of this shit. Yeah. So, contrary to my belief when watching it live, Machu had absolutely no clue if Shuji could pilot a mobile suit. At best, she thought he might be a new type, but that doesn't automatically give you piloting skill. So, with all context, it was a completely random thing for her to do, asking him to fight in clan battle with her. He says he broke his key, implying that he is a pilot anyways, so completely random thing to have worked out. This is off of the back of, and we'll handle this later, the Kira thing where I said, oh, that must be his name. Again, we'll cover it later what it means, but she asks him to enter clan battle off of the fact that she lost all his money. By the way, she's a terrible person for previous things that I said, and we'll say later. She's a terrible person. But I lost all your money. Enter clan battle with me. You remember Aga, right?
Aga? Sounds familiar. Yes.
I guess maybe we're drowning you in too much anime that you can't remember everyone we've ever talked about at any point in time.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that you have a better memory than I do. So if I can remember something off the top of my head.
Right now, my memory seems to be just shot. I'm like, I have so much stuff in my head right now that it's like.
Yeah, I mean, you can't remember Side 6, the setting of this show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently it's something we talked about a lot during Universal Century, given the fact it's literally one of 4 locations. Wow.
No, we've been Side 2, Side
Earth,
3.
I would say all of Earth, Side 7, which we haven't been to since the beginning, so that's where I was like, because I'm thinking.
Well, there was a rendezvous at Side 7, but that's it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Luna 2, I would say, is a location.
Luna 2,
because we go there, we leave, and then Joaquin's fleet goes there, which is 2 times. So Side 7 we haven't been to. I'm not, maybe Abaquo and Solomon then. Munzo,
Solomon,
Side 6, and
Grenada.
Texas.
Grenada.
No, not because I'm saying no to that one. That's a
Why not?
location and origin. We do not go to Grenada in all of 1 Year War so far.
But
So,
it gets mentioned here, though.
sure, but I was saying all the locations we've been to in the 1 Year War. Universal Century. Technically, this isn't Universal Century. This is Universal Century adjacent.
Yeah.
So I would say,
UC
I don't know
Plus.
how many locations I just counted out. I'm going to say 5 or 6.
So we got 3 sides.
So of 6 locations, you couldn't remember one of them, was my point.
Yeah.
And we did spend a couple of episodes in Side 6, so.
I
mean, you should, Aga was from Origin. Remember how you were just bringing up Origin? Yeah. Aga was the guy who I was saying was a new type in Origin. The guy who was Gambler's bodyguard who then turns against him and then cuts his head off. He's got the Lucy Lawless thing. Chakra? So I'm going to say Chakra.
Yeah.
My point being is that she assumes that Shuji can pilot a Gundam because he's a new type. Can you imagine Aga piloting a Gundam? Well, now I know you can't because you barely remember the guy. But I'm saying
now I remember the fight scene. Now I remember the fight scene very clearly, in which Lala and Char team up together, which is where Char discovers that Lala really has a special ability because she's the one warning him about when the chakras are coming because they're coming from places he can't see. So it's like, oh, okay. And then he reacts to it. It's a combination of, that fight was a combination of Lala's premonition and being able to transmit ideas to Char and Char's quick reflexes. So both of them were teaming up to fight him.
So I'm also now realizing you must have at some point remembered that one comment because you've started saying a name a little bit different than normal.
Yeah, Char.
Let's see, where am I at? I gotta say, not an incredibly bright move. A stranger who's putting hands on you, sniffing your hair, invites you into an isolated part of the sewer in the dark without knowing where you are, and you follow him. She only asks, is this safe? After he's, opened up a locked door in the sewer and closed it, assumedly, behind you.
And someone who doesn't act creepily at all.
Well, that's literally what I said, putting hands on you, sniffing your hair and whatnot.
Yeah.
Literally, I feel like this show is a bad message for kids who might be watching it. Just follow the creepy guys into the sewer.
Yeah, nothing can happen. Ignore the clown costume on the wall.
Who knows? Who knows? The guys you follow into the sewer might lead you into exciting adventures.
Yeah.
I've been saying that maybe the Red Gundam might be Char, but at the very least, Shuji is saying that it's talking to him. All other evidence aside, that's at least a mark towards my theory with no evidence against it.
True. But I'm not ready to accept that yet. I want a simpler explanation then. I mean, on the other hand, if this is an offshoot of UC, and we had the 5 last episodes of UC be all la weirdness.
This is an offshot of UC, and you want a simple explanation? Remember, time doesn't apparently matter to new types. Also, a Xeon death god is roaming around. Anything is possible, I feel like. God knows what we haven't hit yet that's weirder than what already exists.
Yeah.
I guess Azuma Colony is just a Banshai of Side 6. We only ever really saw the main Banshai, Riha, I guess. But when Cameron Bloom arrives, he is shown to be welcomed by Amate's mother, as though he weren't in his home Banshee. As an aside, Amate's mom said she was going to go to the office, but never stated where the office was. Well, lo and behold, she works for the government. I think giving my suggestion that Amate is living the high life and apparently slumming it, making it that much more damning that she caused a guy living in the sewers and starving to drop his money in a waterway, and her go-to to make things right was clan battle, and not, I don't know, compensating him for the losses that you caused.
Maybe. I mean, your mother might be rich, but it doesn't necessarily that she has enough money, and she certainly would not want her mother to know that she's dropping that kind of money. Like, where does this money come from? Why are you giving? Where do you buy?
She is still ultimately responsible and in a much better position to actually try to solve the problems that she's caused. Again, she's like any 70s, 80s movie, or 60s, 70s movie, where she's like the valley girl versus, you know, the slums of everyone else around. Not slums, but you know what I'm saying. Any of those kind of movies. That's what I'm saying. She's a bad person. Literally bumped into a homeless guy, caused him to lose all of his money, and is like, you know what you should do? Bum fights. You know, it's like, she's bad. She's not a good person. Just a short little 5-word note here. Something happened to Banchai 17. Well, we know when it is. Xavier's immigration arrival card is stamped 85608. More specifically, Amate's mom says that was yesterday. So today is June 9th, 0085. Meaning we could well be in spoiler territory, considering that the latest date we've gotten in our Universal Century watch through has been January 1st, 0080.
Yeah, I mean, already this was moved to January 3rd, 0080.
Nope.
So.
Well, you're talking about this show, but we're already in June 9th, 0085, so we're not as far out as...
Yeah.
You're talking about, again, that's something that I commented on during the reaction, when you said, oh, that's this thing, and I said, well, no, in the Universal Century, we've only been to January 1st. This one went 2 days later, and also they went with a truce, and not the armistice that we got in the original.
Yeah.
I guess it took 2 extra days to write out that truce. By the way, Cameron's...
Drag out... Well, Rebel should be dead, so I guess not.
No.
I guess they had to convince Gob.
We already had a whole conversation about this, that Rebel's probably not dead.
Yeah. Which means they have to drag out Rebel and Gob and go like, you two shut the hell up. We're having a truce. Oh, well, we should keep fun. No. Shut it.
No. The Federation is the one that tries to initiate the truce, so that would imply that Rebel
that's what I mean.
Gob
and Rebel would have been against it, and the Federation leadership was like, shut up.
I understand that you're playing a joke, but I'm trying to play this also seriously, is that the Federation is the one that proposed the truce, implying that they already got past Rebel and Gob.
Yeah. That's why it took 2 days. That's why it took 2 days. So like, Rebel and Gob were like, no, we should keep fighting. You're like, you two shut the motherfucking up. Sit down, shut up, we're having a truce.
I don't know, I just don't buy into your joke situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, by the way, Cameron's right hand was against his chin in the car. Didn't see a ring on it. And that's not like, oh, it was all sideways. He does reach out for a second as sorry, not Amate's mom. Charlie Bull is getting out of the car, and you can clearly see all the fingers on his hand. He's not wearing a wedding ring, which, you know, must mean...
Yeah, she never made it to the colony either way.
What do you mean?
If she didn't get evacuated from Site 7...
Everyone got evacuated from Site 7. That's the one thing we know happened.
So they went directly to Earth. And never got into the
yes, but they were already set to be engaged regardless. That's what we get informed by when they go back to Side 6 and the other thing.
But did he have a ring when we first see him?
No, but I'm indicating that it's been 5 years. She has all the time in the world to go back if she wanted to, and I'm indicating that she didn't.
No, she basically didn't want to go back there. I don't think there was any love between... I mean, I think all the love was one-sided, right? It's like, oh, yeah, our parents arranged... Remember, it was an arranged marriage by their parents, so it's like, yeah.
Everyone always seems to act like an arranged marriage doesn't automatically mean there's no love.
No, but there's no guarantee that there is, right?
Right. I'm just saying that everyone's default seems to be, oh, it's an arranged marriage. All the shit that I get from Gundam Seed, there's no indication that Lacus ever actually did love Athrun. It's like, based on what? Is the fact that it was an arranged marriage? Well, fuck you. Some people do love their arranged marriage partners. You know, it's not like nothing ever comes to this.
Well, mostly after the fact. So
You're saying that based on what I assume to be all of the stories that have been written that say that. There's no evidence that says one way or the other. Like, obviously there would be, but I don't know if there's, like, studies that have been performed about this. Like, how do you... I just don't know how you do a study on love. Like, that's just a weird thing to put out there.
You survey people.
Yeah, but...
when did you found love?
Yeah, famously, husbands say the God's honest truth in front of their wives. Did you fall in love with your wife when you were... Yeah.
Well, you don't do the survey in front of the wife. Why would you do that?
Because also as a husband, you want to take a survey that your wife will also be taking, and then be questioned about it later when you get home. This is not a win situation. Like, I can only say the husband, because as a man, I can only come from the male perspective. I can't obviously speak for the female perspective about what the woman might be thinking, because I'm not from that female perspective.
He could lie. He could lie to his...
Yeah, great. That's a great stance to automatically take lessons. The man could lie. All right, fair enough. At the same point, though, do you want to enter into that situation, or is your answer, hey, you want to take a survey about your marriage? No. It's probably the best way to do that. No, we're happy. Keeps moving. I've already pointed out that Neon got abused by the bruise that she was trying to hide on her eye. When Xavier leaves police custody, he's got bruising in exactly the same spot. Do you think it might be a visual indicator that Neon is talking to the cops as an informant, and she's being treated hostilely by them? I know it's a bit of a stretch. It's just the fact that they did it twice in one episode. Could easily be that she has a horrible home life as well. Fact of the matter is that she's being abused, and it's not okay no matter what.
Yeah. We do know that, as I mentioned before you clarified, that the news articles were Mashu imagining what would happen as opposed to what really happened. That she's so accurate about it is that they would blame her and not the military police, who literally went, we don't care, these are refugees, and started tearing out the place,
as you were probably about to indicate, the news comes from the military police.
Yeah, and so, them being jackasses, jackbooted thugs, not a surprise, either way.
Sorry, I was just reading an Olgoff comic earlier today, or I can't remember if that's what it's called or not. Literally of Alexander the Great cutting the Gordian knot, and the guy going, "You asshole, I said untie." And it says, "Untie this," and cuts the guy in half. Yeah. And then the ghost, because he says, "You can't rule the world by breaking the rules," and untie this. And then later, him sitting on the throne at the top of the world, and the ghost of the guy says, "History's gonna remember you as a real asshole. Because not if I write it."
And then he got drunk and died.
Well, or poisoned, depending.
Yeah.
That's a funny little comic. Thought about spreading it, did not. And then it did in the recording. Verbally. The best way to handle a comic. I'm going to open the airlock for 5 seconds so it doesn't get recorded in the colony's admin log. 1. Horrible safety feature. Imagine if the airlock was bugged and was opening every 5 seconds. Random passerbys getting sucked out into space. Atmosphere constantly leaking. 2. The timestamp from the start of the opening to the quux. I know I already said how to say it, and it's already fucking escaped me. The gquuuuuux leaving the airlock to space was 10 seconds, so not even correct.
Well, we think an airlock would be a double door system by definition, so no leaking unless both doors are open at the same time.
Well, maybe if the first door is opening only for 5 seconds and the second door is opening for 5 seconds.
Yeah, but one would. Yeah, total would be 10 seconds, so it's not 5 seconds.
No, I'm not talking about... Sorry, you're doing additive math, and that's not what I'm talking about. You're saying that nobody could get sucked out, or that the air loss, I guess, is the two aspects that I brought up, and you're saying it's a two-door system. That wouldn't happen. Sure it would. First door, the outer door opens for 5 seconds, opening to space, creating a vacuum on the inside. Inner door opens for 5 seconds, because like I said, this is a fault. What happens if it's a faulty system where it's bugged? So if it's a bugged system, it's entirely possible for both doors to open for 5 seconds. No one's going to fix it because there's no admin log, which is the whole point that they're saying. So if a door is bugged where it's opening every 5 seconds, which was my point, then they're never going to know to fix it because all the people who report it got fucking sucked out by the door.
That means that both doors have to open at the same time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it does not. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's how it works, though.
I don't know what fucking part of understanding a bugged door you're not understanding. Literally, I'm saying if the door's not working right, and you're saying I don't think the door would work that way, it's not working right, is my point. It's an automated door. You're like, well, the first door wouldn't open up the second door. It's bugged. That's the point. If you need to fix a faulty airlock, you're not going to know it's broken because you don't keep records of 5-second intervals. You should not work that way. It should, like, the moment the signal is sent to open the door, that should be in the log. And then, well, the door didn't open. Well, that's a faulty door. Or the door stayed open and didn't close. That's a faulty door. Because you don't want the door to stay open. I think it would have been much better
that he has access. It would have been better to have access to the local log, right? Maybe say, oh, the local log doesn't do an info dump every 5 seconds or so, so I can just erase the local log and nothing would happen, right? You have a local log in, or 10 seconds, probably 5 seconds is too short, in the door. And then if something happens more than 10 seconds, it then sends a message to the main.
Or literally just say, I'm going to spoof the records. Like, literally, you don't have to, like, because I understand what you're trying to say, but I feel like they said, oh, we only have 2 seconds worth of conversation to get this across. He can have one line explaining what he's doing. And it's like, what you're saying would explain it maybe, but it's too long. Literally just will say, we're going to spoof the system. Boom, one line, got it. Then I wouldn't have this argument because it's like, okay, well, if the door's broken, it's still reporting it. You're just doing something this time right now. When Shalia Bull asks the bartender to switch to the clan battle, the first screen they switch to is a Minovsky particle weather report. Prediction of passage of stagnant Minovsky particles into the area. The closest communication outage will occur tomorrow. That's a pretty interesting background detail.
And all these, well, it makes sense that the use of Minovsky particles for a year or more would, but they don't dissipate, I guess.
I guess. Well, no, I would assume that they do dissipate, but the dissipation is still something. Yeah, they're still out there. But they call them stagnant Minovsky particles.
Yeah.
So I guess they lose some charge over time, but they affect communication. So I guess you got these wandering fog clouds in space that prevent communication.
Yeah.
So a MAV is essentially a pairing with a wild weasel, one of my favorite aircraft crew types. Unofficial motto, you gotta be shitting me. I assume you, as the jet fan, knows what a wild weasel is.
Yes.
I've brought it up like 1,000 times.
Well, I know what I was saying. So, so the idea is that one is an armed aircraft that is not a jammer or has the...
A MAV is a pairing wherein one mobile suit is going to take the opportunity to fire a ranged weapon being undetected, and if they miss, the undetected status, the benefit of being undetected immediately goes away. So your secondary person is going to rush in to assist you. They're your MAV.
No, but I'm talking about the wild weasel pairing because the way you should, it's that the wild weasel is the one that attracts.
Literally, if you're shooting a weapon and were previously unknown to be there, you have become the wild weasel. You've attracted the attention, and your partner is unknown. That's why I'm calling it a wild weasel pairing, is that the guy with the gun who opened the first shot is the wild weasel. Because a wild weasel, God, what did they do? They fired, I know what they do. Sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly what they were done in the 70s or 80s. I think that they had a radioactive missile that...
It's called an anti-radiation missile,
That's-
not because it's radioactive.
No. Sorry, that's
because
what I
it
meant.
homes its own
I'm
radar.
trying to remember the words off the top of my head. Sorry,
Yeah.
you who couldn't remember anything about the setting is going to get me for trying to remember one thing wrong. Fair enough,
And it's just
actually.
got a
Fair enough. I got
1960
on you
video.
all recording. You're fair enough to get me back once.
Yeah. Sorry, 1960s during the Vietnam War.
Well, actually, the thing is that I love them it's like a transference thing. That's the reason I love them. Wild Weasels exist in Star Trek, and I love Star Trek Wild Weasels, and finding out that those were based on a real thing made me love the real thing, too. In Star Trek, a Wild Weasel is an ECM shuttlecraft. You drop the ECM shuttlecraft out the back of the ship, and it projects an electronic image to sensors that appears to be the main ship. So tracking weapons and whatnot will go towards the shuttlecraft instead of your main ship. Real great in Romulan encounters. Sorry, Starfleet battles. One of my favorite tactical games.
I never played it. I think I had a copy of the rules.
Oh god, we were trying to do it on Roll20 because you can do it on Roll20, and it's so wanted it. I so wanted to do it, but couldn't get a group going. Shuji must be our new Lala. I'd almost gamble that he's Lala's kid. He's got the acid trip monologue locked down.
But kid with whom? Char?
No, clearly not Char. Sorry, clearly not Char. To be talked about later in the comment response. Sorry, also I got a note about very specifically this very same subject matter once we get to Macross Delta. Xavier asked how far ahead they can see. Well, we know Machu can see at least flashes of much later in the day, as per her vision of the sewers while at school before ever having met Shuji.
Which is more than what we saw back in Universal Century. Yeah, again, Lala could go all,
Well, very specifically, we're talking about
how
how far ahead can she see, because he's surprised that she saw like a minute ahead for the axe to go flying out and then to lure them into position. But we're talking like hours for her previous vision. Yeah. But then again, to our whole conversation about what Amuro and Lala talked about literally as she was dying.
Yeah.
The idea that new types aren't trapped in the present. But time isn't a thing.
Space. Mm-hmm.
Well, any notes you have about the episode? And by notes, I mean thoughts in the now. All right, well, we have comments. Mr. Freaky from Patreon from the episode Machu in Clan Battle, I guess is the first time you hear the axe is called a Heat Hawk.
Yeah, no, we heard about it before.
Nope.
Well, call it Heat Axe before, not Heat Hawk.
That's what I said. Yeah. Well, that's what I said during the reaction. Not with Heat Hawk, because we never heard of Heat Hawk before. It's always been a Heat Axe.
I always loved the Heat Axe because it also wanted that to be like a D&D weapon. Like instead of Flame Tongue being like breathing fire, it's literally that the blade gets hot enough that the edges glow. I think always that would be a much better visual effect than just flame like a torch.
Depends on what you like, I guess.
I always loved the concept of the Heat Axe, or the Heat Hawk.
I had a note already written about this, but since we had a Patreon member bring it up, I decided to read their comment instead. David Butt from the Patreon, Machu in Clan Battle. To clarify, Kira translates to sparkle, and the other side is depicted with sparkles. So when Machu says Kira, she's referring to the other side.
At the time, I didn't know the exact definition of Kira, but I thought, it has to be from the other, the vision of the other side. It's like, no, it has to be something else. Like, no, that's it.
Well, as I had mentioned earlier, literally before I had even rewatched everything, I looked up Kira, took the definition, put it into my notes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I've already got my thing. It was like, well, you're a Patreon member. I'll read your comment instead of doing this thing in my notes. We have 1998 from The White Gundam. Original direct translation from the Japanese language for the white base was always wooden horse. It was just the localizer's interpretation to translate it into Trojan horse, which in Asian languages would usually be broken down to wooden horse of Troy or something similar. In this case, they just localized it to rocking horse, like the children's toy.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, I always thought the white base, or now as I like to call it, green base, was a cooler name. But
I mean, so
yeah, green base.
The key to memorization is repetition. So the
Yeah.
more I correct you, the more I'm going to remember that it's Sudan. One Smith from the White Gundam about character design changes. In Kurazdown, Bright looks older because that movie is set in the origin manga continuity, where one of the many changes it makes in retelling the events of the show is that he is a little bit older and was a higher rank at the start of the series. Shalia Bull, although looking old, actually wasn't that old in the show. Later Gundam works made after, but before this, such as his episode in the Gundam and the origin manga, redesigned him to look much younger and without gray hair. The show is probably taking from that, although neither had green hair. That is new. Actually, to give you guys a bit of a visual, the origin manga version looks a bit similar to the young, slim Ramba Ral shown in the flashback manga chapters and its OVA adaptation that you have seen. Dr. Flanagan was given a redesign in the Gundam movie trilogy. Not sure if you guys have watched that on Patreon yet. And this show's design is very similar, almost looking the same as that version. Although I don't think it was ever explicitly said as a reason, it is assumed that assumed the fact that the show's character designer Yas, also later the sole creator of the origin manga, was sick in hospital and unable to work on the show during the later episodes was the reason it was changed. That Yas didn't make the original design, and so when he worked on the last movie, he replaced it with a design of his own. There is some evidence as Maz Khan, who... Sorry, I'm just reading ahead, because... Fucking people. Sorry, there's an element here that I was complaining about. I'm going to continue this this note here in a second. There's an element here I was complaining to Lessons before I even started recording, where not even this commenter, another commenter had made a comment about us being wrong about something in episode 2, and saying, you have to watch episode 4, referring to how we're wrong and how they're right about a thing. And it's like, you're watching us watch episode 2, there is no episode 4 on our playlist, we haven't watched it yet, you are actively spoiling. Why do you think this is a good idea? Literally, I told you, it's like going to a movie with somebody who'd seen the movie already, and them turning to you when you showed surprise and something. Don't worry, they're going to show later. It's like, you would never go to the fucking movies with that person again. Why is it cool in the comment section, not cool in real life? The answer is, it's not. Either way, it's not cool. So
it's okay if you put a spoiler tag on it. You like,
no.
Make a couple of space and spoiler
that's
tag.
That's the difference. That there's a number of people that did that in the comment section.
Yeah.
That say this might be spoilers, big old space, and it's like, cool. I appreciate you did that. Not reading your comment, but still appreciate that you had the presence of mind. Love those people. Not reading the rest of this paragraph. About Ramba Ral's size, the origin manga's retelling of the show actually has him be slightly slimmer than he was in the show, but still bigger than he was in flashbacks, so you're both kind of right there. Original continuity works and spin-offs made before the origin manga always had it that Char met Lala off-screen during the events of the show. After he killed Garma, but before he was picked up by Cassilia's men during that period of wandering the Earth in disgrace, abandoned by Zeon. This was changed in the origin manga, as you saw in the OVAs, to happening before the events of the show. Since this show is created by OG Gundam fans, it can be assumed that they are going off of the original show's interpretation, and the probable reason Lala isn't here is because Char never got the chance to meet her in this AU, and Shalia is taking her place as the first other new type he fought alongside, while she is still living on Earth. So I guess still under Gambler's purview.
Or whatever she's doing. She might have escaped. Well, I think she didn't escape because her family was also trapped by this. She needed to send money to them.
Well, they weren't trapped. It's just they would prefer to have the money than her, was her direct comment. They weren't
they sold her off, actually. That's what happened, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm saying Gambler, but I'm realizing the idea that origin didn't happen implies that Gambler doesn't even exist. Aga isn't a person. Not that Aga was much of a person to begin with.
An asshole. That's
well, no, I mean, like, he was one-dimensional. At best, he was like, I'm going to flip on you for more money. And I was like, okay, that's the only defining character trait that you really have.
And that he likes to murder people. He really, really likes to murder people.
My thing about Dr. Flanagan, though, we brought this up earlier, but for some reason I do not remember that change in the movie. I remember he does look different in the movie, but I remember he is still a white guy in the movie, though. Like, he looks different, but I think he's like a different looking white guy. I think the only Flanagan change that we get before this is 8th MS Team's flashback, where I said, oh my god, he looks like GQuuuuuux Flanagan. I was like, that's very weird. Because it's like, why did they change it in 8th MS Team and then comes to GQuuuuuux? But I guess the interpretation is that he's changed everywhere else. But again, the commenter here is saying that he changed in the movie. And again, I would typically have done so, but I didn't hear, would have gone back into the movie to check. But again, my recollection is that he is different in the movie, but he's just a different white guy. He's not a different black guy.
Still fly for a white guy, I guess.
No, not if he's a black guy. And to be fair, according to what we saw in episode 2, he works in a history museum. I don't know how fly he possibly can be.
Right.
Maybe technically fly in that he's in space.
Yeah. In the moon, to be precise, yeah.
Well, gotta get there somehow.
Yes.
Flying, probably.
Through space.
I mean, anything else you want to bring up?
No.
All right, well, I guess that is everything. So let's go ahead and hop on in and see what episode 4 has in store for us.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I do like this song.
Yeah. I mean, the element that I'm still a bit vague on if it's referring to stuff in the show or not, or if it's just, vagaries.
Generic anime.
So the first line, if I had never met you at the ticket station, it's like, yeah, that's exactly where they met. But then a bunch of the other stuff is just a little bit more generic. Also, I think I'm more of a fan of the animation of the ending. Where they're just like in a house together or in a room together, just living their life. But I think that might have just been like...
Wish fulfillment?
No, sorry, I just thought I might have been seeing a scene in the opening that I didn't see before. Wish fulfillment. What do you mean wish fulfillment?
That's what they want for themselves, to be living
I thought you were
their own
indicating
lives.
that was my wish. I'm wishing for that to be fulfilled. Also, did she just launch from the Sudan?
Apparently.
That's something.
Interesting.
Yeah. An element of, Nyan's being abused, and now she's going to go off to live a life where she's not going to be anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a positivity sort of thing.
I just find it funny that I guess I guess it makes sense that Xavier, Fefia?
If they're launching from the Sudan, then they're not chasing her. I think they're all running together.
Mm-hmm.
Another clan battle?
Apparently. I like the song. Oh, the sun is pretty distant here.
Well, yeah, would be. We're still technically in Earth orbit. cool. Naruto tricks. Why not?
Wow.
Also, it is basically the dueling system from Witch from Mercury. Witch from Mercury, the dueling thing is you had to knock like a horn off of the person's head. And in this, you have to knock the head off of the person.
Yeah. He's Sophie, right? Sophia. Sofa? Sofa, that's her name.
I don't think so. Sepha was the person I referred to before, but she's the blonde sitting on the bridge.
Yeah.
しかし、サイコミ同士の共振がゼクノバの原因という報告もあります。放置するのは危険です。
誰もが動かせるものではないんですよ。特にオメガサイコミはね。
Phones of the future.
なんで嬉しそうなんだ。
Expanse down. Type. You know, expanse is where basically it was a.
No justice, no peace.
くそ。あいつを釈放したのに、まだ居座ってやがる。
That dude.
我々ははめられたんですか。連邦に勝ったジオンの次の戦争はザビ家の身内争いだ。
Family feuds. Okay, so Giran is fighting Cecilia. Oh, on the far shot, I thought this was Cameron moping. I thought it was some different guy. Of course he is. He is the suit. You have no. What is your choice? Literally. Yeah, remember our last episode? The girl was asking her if she had filled out her career statement form.
Yeah.
Every girl in the school is a cheat.
Oh, they're all spoiled brats, rich brats, man.
See, and again, she dropped the dude's money into the river and he's starving. See?
Oh, it's a built-in printer.
You think that's a reference to the movie that didn't get made? Char and Amuro in the start of the movie are supposed to be flying around in gliders. Rank number 5.
I guess he's getting some money, though. From the battles. Oh.
That she left school early, remember? Oh.
I'm gonna be jealous.
Across Delta.
Amate. Okay.
Yeah, I said that in my notes that her name was Amate. Also on the board. She said it last episode. Also, to be fair, when I was in school, I said I wanted to be Godzilla, so... To be fair, though, she's in high school. I think I said that in elementary school. I stole a Gundam. I appreciate people that steal Gundams. See? They're doubting it. They're mocking it. Means it's true. It's that whole thing I talked to you at Durora about the knife situation. I'm rich. I can afford it. It's either going to be like an abusive dad with a drug habit or... Oh. See, what's that element that I was literally bringing up? Is she an informant for the police?
You're playing with the cat.
Pomeranian.
Is it a cat or is it a dog? I think it's supposed to be a
It's a
dog.
cat named
It looks like-
Pomeranian.
Yeah, but it barks.
Oh, well, my mom used to have a dog that got hit by a car and afterwards thought it was a cat. Would like walk on fences and things.
No, I think that no, it's not a cat. It's supposed to be a dog. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's just a cat.
No, they said it's a dog.
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
あの入り口がわからなくて
Looking for my boyfriend, Cameron Bloom.
事務所なんですけどそれジャンク屋ですよそうジャンク屋さんご存知
She does kind of look like
バイトなの
what she would look like in this art style, I feel like.
はいこんな可愛い子がいるなんて意外ねむさ苦しいところって覚悟してたのに
Don't love that there's an ashtray for reasons I've brought up in 8th MST.
彼女はシーコ。今は菅井だっけ。一年戦争では魔女って呼ばれたユニカム。
Unicum. Love the term.
ユニカムって
He's an ace. Killed 100 people or something like that. Whatever. Yeah, 100 people. She's a super
Super
Unicum.
Unicum.
結婚してパルダに住んでるって。子供もいるんだろ。
やっと少し手が離せるようになったの旦那の実家もあるしね
何しに来た？ガンダムか。
There is a bounty.
ソロモンで落ちたって聞いてそれならもういいかって吹っ切れたつもりだったけど今になってまた現れるなんてね本物でしょあれ
But you fought against the Federation forces, so why would you be concerned about the Red Gundam appearing again?
まさか。
戦争に負けても私は負けてない
Oh, baby, I got it backwards.
赤いガンダ
No,
ム
she is Federation.
私が倒すのよ
I thought she said... Man, I must have just saw the word Federation and assumed.
シーコの最初のマブは赤いガンダムに落とされたんだ。魔女と恐れられた彼女でもマブを助けられなかった。
God, I hope she's from Mercury.
敵討ちか。そういうのって終戦協定でチャラになったんじゃないんすか
Like they ever do.
そんなお利口さんばかりじゃないってことさ。
お子さんがいるのになんで坊やは可愛いわ旦那も優しいしでもね何かを手に入れるために何かを諦め
I'm not gonna believe it until I see him.
そんなの理不尽じゃない
Yeah, I think it's a cover story. She has no children.
Yeah, she's
She probably
nobody. She's gonna
wanted-
go home and she'd be empty.
Yeah, or that's what she wanted to do, but that's her lover was the one that got that.
それができるのかしら
Chosen few.
お母さんとは全然違う
I mean, if the Caecilia Corp, you know, existed,
可愛いバイトさん
maybe they all got fucking killed.
赤いガンダムのパイロットってどんな人
Maybe Char didn't get to form his ideology. To be fair, he was creepy first.
地球に行きたいんだ
Yeah.
ガンダムはバラを探している。
パラ
Lala? We gonna go look for Lala?
地球に行く。
Because Char is the fucking Gundam?
どんな人
Does Char want Lala inside of him?
修二のこと何も知らない
Even the little robot buddy is concerned. It's like, stop talking to that guy. It's dormitory security. It's interesting.
よっこいしょっと。
That's a Federation suit.
まだ衰え
Well,
ちゃい
I
ない
was
ね
say it's clearly that girl, and then they said the witch, so it had to have been already.
確かに連邦の軽キャノンとは大違いでも所詮は量産型でしょ
Well, that's a familiar face, huh?
Yeah.
Mos Khan,
The
the engineer who gave the Gundam its
それで
Magnetic coating. Couldn't remember the name for a second.
Yeah.
サイコミとかいうニュータイプ兵器が気がかりかね。
ニュータイプなんて方便です。ジオンのプロパガンダですよ。
Pretty effective propaganda in that they fucking exist.
And and can destroy things. Okay.
Yeah, that person we literally introduced you to.
I think she actually wants to be killed. I think she's looking for death. That she's not married, she has no kid. That's a life that she would have had at her
How would you
map
love
has
it if we were
survived.
wrong? If we were wrong and there actually is a husband and a kid watching the clan battle and she does die.
Yeah.
Ah, those unicums. They only come once. Those unicums. Hey, they get a kid out of it. I mean, it would give weight to her whole battling thing. I killed a mom of one. Although, something's got to really go wrong here if she does kill somebody, because all she had to do is take their heads off, and that doesn't kill the pilot.
No. Chris. CRS, I think.
Gelgog.
Chris.
So the underwater types in space.
Oh, those are. Oh, yes, a Gelgog, yeah.
I mean, it says Gelgog on the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a Gelgog.
Looks like a GM.
Yeah. Well, they said it's a mass-produced. Although it's a mass-produced gun cannon model, they said too. So I don't know why they're listing it as a Gelgog.
Well, they said that it was mass-produced by another federation by the.
They say it's a mass-produced version of the light cannon light gun cannon model. So I'm anticipating something again, like I keep bringing them up, the Iron Cavalry. But again, they're listing them as Gelgog, so I'm just internally confused.
Yeah, because they
now.
were developed by Xeon, not by Federation.
Well, no, she says it's like the Federation light gun cannon model, but mass-produced. Either way, that was weird. Either way, it doesn't explain why they're listing it as a Gelgog. Nothing about it is a Gelgog. Yeah, how the fuck are you shifting? Oh, MOSCON, of course. That's the whole point of the magnetic coating, was the friction elimination. It's a shame the actual Gundam never did that.
当然だ。まだまだ性能向上は可能なんだ。頼むからデータだけは持ち帰ってくれよ。
I guess technically they can't transmit the data. They're in the middle of a Minosky field. Ah, good old flail.
Oh, wow. That's a dodge.
For a second, I thought they were going to curve the blade or something.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you see it swinging and the blade curves backwards. So I thought it was going to curve forwards over their blade. Yeah, see? Light-type gun cannon of the Federation. 100% not a Gelgog. Maybe they listed it as a Gelgog because they can't list Federation mobile suit stuff.
おそらく小さなフックのようなものを使って軌道を変えている。さすが。
So I'm laughing a little bit to myself because this is exactly shit that I brought up in Gundam Seed. It has nothing to do with Gundam Seed at all. But she's making a lot of right angle moves.
こだわりすぎだよ。そいつはあんたの敵じゃないんだ。
そんなことどうだっていい。
What do you mean by that?
プレッシャーは普通じゃない。
Oh, that's right, because she's after the Red Gundam.
私のマブはニュータイプかもしれない。
I mean, it's got to be very clear to her that whoever's piloting the Red Gundam isn't the person she fought before.
それを奪った赤い彗星も
Wait a second. Are you implying they killed your Mav when he Zek-Nova'd at Solomon?
この世界は結局理不尽で
Implying that you were defending Solomon crashing into Granada?
人なんていない。
Yeah.
You were not the hero there.
そう納得して普通の生き方を受け入れた。
Are we at Arlington?
それなのに
It's Federation.
赤いガンダムのパイロット、お前が選ばれたやつじゃないと証明してやる。そうすれば私は
I'm always worried they're going to show me someone cracking their teeth.
あいつおかしいぞ。殺し合いしてんのか。だから敵討ちなんでしょ。
違うな。
How can you hear that?
執着だ。
Should be a
The radio
Minovsky
is
field.
open. Huh? That's true.
私のために死んでニュータイプ
Again, she's the bad guy.
ガンダムの
Oh,
パイ
she
ロッ
got the flash?
僕はまだ死なない。ガンダムがそう言っている。
Does she have an awakening too?
Well, I mean, she's seeing the other side.
何の音ですこれ。何か聞こえます。
That's Lala.
ララ音じゃないですか。
The Lala sound, yeah.
大佐の時と同じだ。
Well,
赤いガンダムで。
I mean, it implies everything that I just said. The Gundam wants to go to Earth, Rose, Lala. I mean, unless I'm right about the other crazy shit I said, that Shuji is Lala's kid. And that's why you're hearing the Lala sound. Inherited. I'm not sure why Machu just isn't as good in this battle. Is it just because she's getting slowed down by the other one? Oh, real slow-like, too. Fair, she was trying to kill you. Yeah, I mean, she was trying to kill you. It's fair. And I legit think we are going to see a husband and child.
Yeah.
Boom, told you. Cool mystery motivation. Well, there we go. It was the worst case scenario. What about the other guy? Did the other guy get handled?
Yeah.
I was focused so much on the witch thing and everything that they were talking about.
ニュータイプは人を殺しすぎた。だから憎しみを巻き込んでしまうのかもしれません。
I don't know. Regular people have killed way more people.
あの人には会ってる家族もいたのに。でもそこまで踏み込まなきゃ修二のいる場所には届かないんだ。
I'll say that's probably a weakness of this episode. They
Yeah.
could have introduced us to the family to make it hurt a little bit more, but they didn't, and all they did was give us a little flash of the kid. I mean, maybe that
Also,
was
I
the
don't know
implication
why
of
he
showing
would have
us
to
that
kill
other
her.
kid.
He could have disarmed her. I mean,
Nah,
the
she
other
was a
arm
bad
was
guy.
out.
Literally, she was like if there was anybody escorting Island
Yeah.
Fish to Earth. She was
Mhm.
there, and she's like, "Oh, you killed my map! How fucking dare you!" One, it seems like Char killed the Mav in the Zek Nova that he had no control over,
Mhm.
so not
Yeah.
automatically his fault. And also, you were helping guide Solomon into Granada to kill a bunch of people. Like, that's a city. That's not a military encampment. Literally,
Yeah.
Zionic is outside of Granada. So you're literally on the bad guy side there. Like,
Yeah.
maybe not the Federation is the bad guy side, but you're doing a war crime. And I have
Mhm.
no sympathies for the war crime people. Like, obviously, a weird thing for me to say, having been drawn in Xeon outfit. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you know, Xeon is filled with people of many different types. The same way the Federation is. Not everyone in Xeon is Giran. But everyone that did Operation British is an asshole.
待って待って、クランバトルに遅刻しちゃうかも。もしマブのどっちか一人でも間に合わなかったら
Xavier shoved me into a locker.
法外な違約金なんだって。次回、ニャンはキラキラを使わない。私だってキラキ
The
ラ
Black Stars.
Yeah, I'd recognize that nose anywhere. I say that. Clearly, I think that was MASH. That could have been any of them, though.
Yeah. But also the spikes in the helmet, too.
Oh, I didn't. Literally, just the nose. Literally, I saw that fat nose with all those bumps in the helmet, and it's like, it's fucking one of the Black Tri-Stars. I want to say MASH, but unfortunately, MASH could be the one with the eye, the scar going over the eye, because always like this.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one is which. It's not Gaia. Gaia looks the most normal of them. You know,
He's the
Miguel
skinniest
Gaia.
one, yeah.
It's Miguel
Yeah.
Gaia, MASH, and can't remember the other one. It's not like the Pants crew that all have a theme.
Yeah.
Ortega. I think his name is Ortega. MASH, Gaia, and Ortega. Ortega might be the eye. So MASH might be the nose. Because think about it. Look at that nose. You got to be thinking MASH. Like Monster MASH. Like, look at that nose. I don't know. I'm just coming up with a theme. Yeah, I'm just saying that when you're part of that sort of a thing, you don't come off looking good. So even though she's trying to paint herself as the victim, my Mav got killed in this thing. I'm going to get revenge for him. Sorry, I'm trying not to, like, pull out real life events. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, you were the driver of the drive-by shooting, and you're mad that one of the guys in the back seat got killed in the crossfire while you were shooting at a school. It's like, I don't feel bad for you.
Also, I mean, she clearly was seeking death. I mean, I pegged her as a death seeker from the very beginning.
I disagree with that one. I don't think she was seeking death. The fact that she had the family and was instantly regretting getting killed, I think she was just seeking revenge. I need closure before I can move on with my life. And that's why we get introduced to her as I retired, I moved on, had a family, but I heard about the Red Gundam, and I cannot sit by. I can't move on with my life with that element still haunting me from the past. So I don't think she wanted to die. Sorry, I'm thinking back to like every detective comedy, like Monk and all them that I've watched. Every time Monk goes, this doesn't make any sense. She was planning to go on vacation. She had plans for her honey. Sorry, I can't. My brain just shat itself trying to remember what it is when you celebrate your marriage.
Anniversary?
Anniversary. She had plans for her anniversary. Why would she commit suicide? It's like that element, right? Why would you be thinking about your kids, be doing all this shit about their future, wanting to kill yourself all of a sudden? The element of making plans and then planning also to kill yourself. It just doesn't jive together. Again, granted, people do crazy shit, right? You can get struck in the moment by a thing that has nothing to do with everything else that you've been doing. It just, motive is a large part of solving crimes, right? And motivation, you got to figure it out. And in this case, I think the motivation is revenge, not, I don't know what you call trying to get yourself killed. Like, what's cop suicide listed as, right?
I call it Death Seeker.
Right. I just don't think that fits the motivation as well as
Suicidal.
revenge does.
Somebody who's suicidal, yeah. So that's
what I'm saying. I don't think that follows the motivation. I think we got to go back to when she was originally introduced in the episode as a retiree who is now coming back because she heard of the Red Gundam. I don't think she wants the Red Gundam to kill her. That doesn't make any sense to the motivation of I want to get you for what you did to my Mav. Hell, even when you thought that she was in love with her Mav.
No. The thing now, if that engineer is working in this side, right? Is he working as an independent contractor because this is supposed to be his own corporation? Or are they working openly or secretly for this government? And therefore, this government it's playing both sides, the Federation and the Zeon.
You can't be, because they're fighting against Clan Battle. It'd be weird if they were fighting against Clan Battle and for Clan Battle.
I mean, they use the Clan Battle as a testing ground for the magnetic. What do we call the
But then why would it just be the first time we see it? Also, why were they fucking called Gelgogs? That bothers me. It bothers me from the perspective of anybody seeing the listing knows it's wrong. Like, I don't mean us, like, we're not even technical fans. So the fact that it's a wrong name and it's not what's on screen, I mean from the element of these are people that keep track of the leaderboards, gamble on everything, whatnot, would know that's not a Gelgog. My favorite team uses Gelgogs. Those aren't Gelgogs. What if those that? So as a fan, you would be upset, but I guess you couldn't really talk about it because, well, maybe, I guess you could. They're broadcasting it. It's like, it's illegal, but it's like no different than on me recording a car wreck as I'm going by. Technically, this isn't illegal.
Yeah.
Although I guess technically there would be standards and practices. We can't broadcast somebody dying live on TV, but...
Which they did.
Yeah. As I'm saying, standards and practices is nothing against me recording a car wreck, but if I see all the dead bodies on the ground, I can't like live stream it. I'll be taken down.
Yeah.
But this is like a whole channel dedicated to Clan Battle.
Yeah. Which they haven't taken down.
I don't know. There is a lot going on in the background that I think is setting up future things. Again, I think I'm correct that Char is the Gundam, and possibly Lala exists, and Char wants to meet Lala. I mean, technically, what is Lala but like the most powerful new type we've ever seen? Not very good at fighting, but I mean, still, that's not what all being a new type is all about. And if Char is just all mind now, then what else is he had to look for, right? It's either that or I'm completely right on the craziest of guesses that Shuji is Lala's kid, and the Lala noise is coming from him.
But a kid with whom, though?
Does it matter?
It might.
I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be interesting to know. I just don't know that it matters.
Because we don't know.
Because it feels like you're saying that Lala is a incel, and she would never have a kid. She'd never have a kid with anybody.
No, I'm not saying that she
would.
What
person broke through her barrier and got her pregnant? It's like...
Oh, John.
Well, no, because apparently to that comment that we read, we never met. Chalia took that position. Can't wait for Chalia. You gotta stop wearing dresses all the time. Cassilia's having a problem with it. Put on your uniform.
Yeah.
Char, you gotta stop wearing the red thing. Put on a spacesuit every time you fight. Oh, I promise, Chalia. I promise. Second Nova's in a normal ass suit.
Yeah. Not that it would matter anyway.
Yeah, well, that was Char's point. It doesn't matter what I get shot down in. I'm dead no matter what.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I Second Nova in. I'm dead no matter what. But, like I said, there's a lot of background shit happening. Again, the fact that Amate comes from apparently well-to-do family, or at least a well-to-do situation, and is just like, you know what, I can't pay you any money. Clan battle. It bum fights it, starving guy. He'll figure it out. As much as it seems like I care about you during every fight. Don't worry, Shuji, I'm coming. Not to pay you the money that I owe you for having you ousted into the sewer, but to help you in this fight that I actually did not help you in. Earn money yourself. Apparently, I'm very Marxist. Not Marxist. Or what was Ford?
Libertarian.
Nazi, actually.
Libertarian, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I'm just thinking about Nazi. Ford was mentioned in Mein Kampf, so it's like,
oh yeah,
it's gonna, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, kind of idea. But again, she's not good. She's not good, but I assume she's gonna be made out to be.
Ostensibly, he's now getting some money. He's getting his part of the winnings, right?
Don't know. So I was starving still, but then just might indicate he's not good with money.
Or he's putting all the money in maintaining the Gundam, though.
But I mean, is he? He didn't have money before, and the Gundam's not falling apart. So why would all his money go away now? I mean, maybe they'll bring in Mos Khan and he'll magnetic coat the Gundam. Like he did before.
Yeah.
He sees the Gundam won the fight, and he's like, "Oh, I need to get, close to that thing."
Yeah.
Maybe he's attracted to new opportunities to test shit out. He'll be like the new engineer on the team.
Could be.
I mean, what else is he doing? We don't literally know. Again, this is 5 years after the fact, so I don't know what happens to Mos Khan in the Universal Century. Don't tell me comments. Spoilers, as I said. We're only.
It could be helping to develop new suits for the Federation to restart the war, though.
Well, there is no Federation, as far as we know. They talk.
No,
about,
there is.
They talk. No, they talk about Federation refugees. Literally,
but they also know they have a peace treaty with the Federation.
No,
the Federation.
No. That is the status of forces agreement made with Side 6, not with the Federation.
No, but they do have a peace treaty with the Federation.
Well,
the Federation didn't.
They made an agreement with the Federation. There's no indication that 5 years later the Federation is still a thing. We talk about Federation, not refugees. I used the word before. Federation. God, I can't remember what they call them. There's something they said in episode 1. All the Federation soldiers that are left behind that Zeon has to find jobs for.
Yeah.
And I remember I talked about it in my notes specifically about, hey, if you find them jobs and give them a good life, they're not going to think about the fact that they lost the war. Did you ever watch the TV version that, was it Apple TV or was it Amazon? I think it was Amazon, made of Man in the High Castle?
Yeah, I watch a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, because one of the most poignant scenes to me was when the guy gets stopped on the side, or not stopped, stuck on the side of the road, has to do repair work, and the cop pulls up and says, "You need any help?" And it's like, "Oh, are you hungry? I have half a sandwich. You can have half my sandwich." And the guy's the nicest guy you ever fucking saw. And then it starts snowing. And he goes, "Snowing? That's weird." Because, "Oh, that's not snowing. That's ash. The hospital is burning the invalids." And it's one of the fucking Nazis. And he sees he's got like a military, like a Marine tattoo. He's like, "Yeah, I fought in the war. Can't even remember what we were fighting for." How easy it is just to fall into routine, even though that routine is fucking evil. The idea that Federation soldiers could just be given new jobs, new lives. If it's good enough, you might just forget what you were fighting for. Again, that made the show for me. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, that is very real in some aspects.
Too real.
Yeah, so it's like, so if that's kind of the thing happening in the background of this show, that the Federation is just not even a thing anymore because we gave them too good of a life. We're actually pretty good when it comes to subverting the will of the people with what they actually think they want and what they actually will settle for.
Well, it's only episode 4, and we have,
I think, 8 more episodes.
8 more episodes.
So
of
I
this
literally
season,
I
which
never
is the
know
first
anymore.
season, yeah.
Apparently, I was
Yeah.
just commenting the fact I'm reacting to Apocalypse Hotel, which is apparently only going to be 8 episodes long.
Mhm.
So I didn't even know you
I think
made
it's
only
gonna
8
go for
episode
12.
series.
Yeah. I mean, when streaming, now a lot of this is just streaming, so you can be more flexible. Although, we settled on the 12 to 13 episode season for Japanese anime, but that wasn't always the case. So,
Well, I just remember
things change.
12 used to be the minimum. And it's like
Yeah.
Apocalypse Hotel is going to be 8. And it's like, oh, well, hopefully that means that they had a very specific vision on what they wanted to do and didn't want to fill in to make a standard season. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts you want to throw in here about this episode?
No, not really.
I know, obviously, I'm going to have to come back with a ton of notes because a lot happened here, and a lot of it foreshadows things, I think. And I want to obviously say them before they happen. That's the joy I get from that. All right, well, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?